Most budgets fail before the month even begins, not because people are irresponsible, not because they don't care. They fail because the budget itself is built on a broken idea. And today, we're going to fix that. What you're about to learn is a system so simple it almost sounds stupid, but it's the same method used by people who went from living paycheck to paycheck to building real financial stability. And most of them say the same thing. Why did nobody teach me this earlier? Here's a problem with traditional budgeting. Most people open a spreadsheet at the end of the month, look at what they spent, feel guilty, maybe adjust one or two things, then close it and repeat the cycle. That's not a budget. That's a financial autopsy. You're analyzing a patient that's already dead. The money is gone. The decisions were made. And you're left wondering where it all went again. But here's what nobody tells you. The actual issue isn't discipline. It's not willpower. It's that your money has no direction. It's just sitting in an account, waiting to be pulled by whatever feels urgent in the moment. And something always does. So what's the alternative? It's called a zero-based budget, and the name alone is enough to scare people off. They hear zero and think no money, deprivation, stress. But that's completely backwards. Zero-based budgeting means this: your income minus your expenses equals zero. Not $0 in your account, $0 without a job. Every dollar you earn gets assigned a role before the month starts. Rent, groceries, debt, savings, entertainment. Every category, every dollar accounted for. Think of it like a work schedule. If you run a business, you don't hire people and then figure out what they'll do later. You hire for specific roles. That's it. Your money works the same way. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people assume they're already doing this. They have a rough sense of their category. They know roughly what they spend, but rough is exactly the problem. Rough is how you spend $40 on apps you forgot you subscribed to. Rough is how you get to the end of the month with nothing in savings and no idea where it went. Rough doesn't work. Zero-based budgeting forces you to be exact. And that exactness, that clarity, is the thing that changes behavior. Not guilt, not rules, clarity. Let's walk through how this actually works. Step 1. You start with your income, not your salary, your take-home income, the number that actually hits your account. That is your starting point. Step 2. You list every single expense category, fixed first: rent, utilities, car payments, insurance, subscription. These are non-negotiable. Write them down and subtract them. Then the flexible categories: grocery, gas, eating out, clothing, entertainment. These are where most people's budgets fall apart because they guess. You don't guess. You look at the last 3 months of spending in each category, get the average. That becomes your number, not a wish, a data point. Step 3. You subtract everything from your income and you keep going until you hit zero. Any money left over after bills and spending, that gets a job too. Emergency fund, investing, debt payoff, sinking funds. You do not leave a dollar unassigned. That is the rule, because unassigned dollars have a way of disappearing every single time. Now here's the part most videos skip. This budget isn't made once. It's made fresh every single month. This is crucial. February is not December. January has a heating bill. March has a birthday. Your budget isn't a template you copy and paste. It's a live document you rebuild with intention every month. That's what makes this different. It's not passive, it's deliberate. And deliberate is what breaks the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Let's talk about the biggest objection people have. I have irregular income. I'm a freelancer. This doesn't work for me. Actually, it works even better. When your income fluctuates, you need a plan more than anyone. Here's the adjustment. You budget based on your lowest expected income for the month. You build your categories around that floor. Anything above it, assign that surplus in priority order. Emergency fund first, then debt, then goal. The zero-based system doesn't require stability. It creates it. There's something else worth saying. A lot of people try this system and quit in the first month, not because it failed, but because it exposed something uncomfortable. When every dollar has a job, you can see exactly where your priorities actually are. And sometimes what we spend money on doesn't match what we say we care about. That gap is painful to see, but it is also one of the most important things you will ever see about yourself, because the budget isn't judging you. It's showing you the truth. And once you see it, you can change it. That's the real power of zero-based budgeting. Not the spreadsheet, not the math, the clarity. Most financial systems ask you to follow rules. Zero-based budgeting asks you to make decisions, and decision-making is a skill. The first month will feel hard. You'll miss categories. You'll overspend some. That's normal. The second month will feel better. The third month, it starts to feel like control. And control, real financial control, is something most people have never felt before. Not because they couldn't afford it, because nobody ever showed them the system. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit about budgeting. Budgeting Budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about intention. You are not telling your money where it can't go. You are telling it exactly where it should go. That is a completely different relationship with money, and it changes everything. Not just your bank balance, your stress, your sleep, your decisions, your self-respect. When you stop wondering where your money went and start knowing exactly where it's going, everything gets quieter. The anxiety that follows you to the ATM, gone. The guilt after every purchase, gone. The feeling that money is always just slightly out of reach, gone. Because you're not reacting to money anymore. You're leading it. That's the version of yourself this system builds. Not someone who earns more, not someone who spends less, someone who is in control. And control, it turns out, was never about the numbers. It was always about the decision to make a plan. This is your plan.